You are watching DoD Productions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's tutorial video. And I don't do these very often, but I'm doing this now for anybody that has not seen Adobe Premiere Pro, uh, the um, the professional video editing software. Now I've decided to use this for two main reasons. The first reason is because of the ability to add titles and graphics easier than Silent Power Director 365, which was my previous software, and there were and the ease of use of adding graphics in and intros, but also the ease of use for exporting 4K content. More of that we will come on to later towards the end of the tutorial. But for now, I'm just going to introduce you to the program. Now, this program for users that have not seen this is available from adobe.com on a trial basis. I won't show that site up, it's self-explanatory, but it is available on a 7-day free trial before a monthly subscription can be purchased following on. That is what I've chosen to use. I've chosen to use the monthly subscription. It is reasonably expensive at $19.97 a month, but in my opinion, for that price, you do get a lot of features, and the program is well worth the money if looking for a decent, high quality alternative to Power Director and other such programs. So let's start with the main parts of this. I'm just going to open Premiere Pro. This is the screen that you'll get when you open Premiere Pro. Now, normally it would open up with the welcome screen. I will show that off. But basically, all that says is, do you want to open a new project? Do you want to open an existing project? And go from there. It's basically a project selector. The way I've got it set up at the moment is to open my previous recorded project. So you can see here that I had a project on the Xbox Series X focusing on a video of PGA 2K21 on the Xbox Series X that was recorded in 4K. Now, first things first, all this might look a little bit confusing to start with, but the left panel is your source panel. Now this will show any clips that you have in the project to edit and stuff like that. So that's what your source panel for. To the right of that, you have your current clip selection, and that gives you a visual representation of your clip. Now you can see here that when this program opened up, it was at 3 minutes and 48 seconds into the video. Now, the way to bring it back to the start is quite simple. It's this here is a playhead, otherwise known as the CTI, which I think is the current time indicator or something like that. Now, to bring it to the beginning of the video, say you want to come to the start of the video, all you have to do is click and drag to 0000, which is what I've done there. I've actually got an introduction before the start of this video. I'll come on how to make those later on in the tutorial. But for now, we're just focusing on how we navigate the video and check on things we want to edit and go on. Before we start editing, we want to get through how we navigate stuff to find bits we want to edit and then cut out. So, new users should use the program, program panel, as it's known, to head through their videos, and I'll explain how to import those in a minute. But use the program panel to head through their videos and find stuff they want to cut out or want to alter if necessary. The third panel is on the left hand side is what's called the media. Basically the panel where you put your clips in, so how you import your clips. So to import clips into this panel, we double click on an open space, and this import window will open up, indicating to select a video to put in. So for example, I'm just going to put one of these videos in. It's only 5 seconds long, just to prove that that's how you do it. It imports the file and it's there. Now, so that's your import panel. That's how you would import all your clips to organise to put in a movie. The final panel I would like to show, and the panel where all the action's going to go on, is called the timeline panel, and this is where all the action goes on, as you say. So once you find a video that you want to import, all you have to do is, I'm just going to take this out because this is already exported, so I don't need to show this again in my case. So I'm going to take this out just to show this action off, and all I have to do to put that extra clip in that I've just put in is click and drag it in, and then it goes, and it's as simple as that to put the put extra clips in. So once you've imported the clips that you want, then you drag them onto the timeline and sort them out as and when you want them. Now, if you want to add more clips in, it's just a case of finding somewhere clear on the if I can. Oops. There you go. Yeah, it's just a case of clicking on that for every single. Clicking on spare space for every single clip you want to bring in. You can also import folders as well, if that is a preference, as you can see here, where it says import folder. You can also do that as well, but I tend to like doing individual files since I don't want videos that I've already done to be put back into the bin, what's called the bin, to be selected from. So now the good thing about this is that you can also have new, what we call new bins, and basically another word for a bin is a folder where you can store all your footage. I'm just going to get rid of this one since I don't need it. But that just shows how easy it is to click a folder. I don't know whether I can get rid of these, but I obviously can't. But it doesn't matter anyway. That is fine. Now, another thing I like about this is the ability to create titles, and you do this using the essential graphics panel that you can see on the right of the screen. And now this allows you to put in your own custom titles. As you can see, I've got one here that that lasts 5 seconds and that can be imported before the start of every video, or that can be shown before the start of every video by importing it as the first clip. Now, this only lasts 5 seconds. The important thing is not to make these title clips that long, and also to put them first as well, so that their intention is served. So you can see here that I've got a basic title template that I use for all my graphics called DLD Productions, and that just pays homage to my channel name. Well, my channel name's actually David Doubtfire, but it goes by the name of DLD Productions, which is a custom brand, custom logo that I made in Microsoft Word and stuck for the use of the YouTube channel. So I use that title for everyday use, and the way I did it was to go to graphics and then the text option, which is here. It's called the type tool. In obviously, if you've got your own logo, you just import a graphic. But if you haven't got your own logo, you can create one using the type tool, which is what I did for DLD Productions. The type tool works like this, and places a box with a cursor in it at the place where you click in the screen. Now, I'm not going to, because I don't want to change the current logo, but that's the way it works. So certainly for text logos anyway, but as you can see, I'll show you a few more we've got here. Just for example, we've got an angled image caption here. We've got angled credits. We've got coming up next options. We've got angled title. We've got a basic lower third, which is the thing that you see in the bottom left hand of screens, usually on news broadcasts. You've got a basic title. You've got bold credits. You've got a bold lower third. You've got a bold lower third again. Bold presets, bold bold web caption. There's so many options in this. It is unbelievable how many options you get for the price that you pay for this. Now, as you can see, I chose to do a basic text logo, which I just did using the type tool as explained. The top bits are made out of Bradley and ITC, and the bottom bit is Arial, the computer font. So it's just basically the same as that. So that's how I've done it, and that's how the logo is made prior to that you see prior to a video starting. Now to install that obviously has to go at the front before any video goes in. So as you can see, if I move across my timeline, you can see there's the graphic and there's a little bit of audio that corresponds to, and I quote, "You are watching DLD Productions." So that's what that bit is there at the bottom. And of course we've got that there. So we've got a little bit there, and that's fine. So let me just delete. Oops. Oops. There you go. Right, that deletes that. So that shows the basics of the title off. As I say, the editing of the clip is pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you're wanting to cut clips, then the cutting tool. Let's have a look here. The that symbol there is the cutting tool. If you click and drag from that position, or any position where you see this symbol, to the left means you can cut the distance, to the right means you can add time to how much is shown. So say for example I cut that up, so that's a cut of about half a second, and if I wanted to add that back in, I just do that, and that adds the half a second back in. So that's as easy as that is. Don't worry, I am not going to save this project, so, or if I do, I shall import, not save the, not export the project, so there's no change to it. And we'll just go back and use the same project. And we'll just go back and use the same title in future. But that shows the title side. Now, the footage side, as I say, it mainly focuses on these two things here. These tools here, which will shorten, cut and extend footage. You can also add voice tracks if you've forgotten to add a voice track in, but you want a voice track in, then this here is your ability to do so. This is the voice over record function, and the way this works, if I just find an empty space on the timeline that I can go to, probably at the end. Yeah, where it's black. So I'll show you what that does here. So here we go. Test for tutorial. Test for tutorial. So there you go. That's what that icon does, it allows you to put it allows you to record a voiceover if the project that you're recording didn't initially have one. Say you did a video without commentary but decided to add post comment to it, then that's the way you would do it in this program. Now it's pretty good. The only thing I have against that is it seems to double record and play the microphone back in stereo for some reason, but I haven't figured out exactly why it does that, but it does. So, but that's there if you ever forget to do a commentary stint and you decide you want one. So that's good that that functions there as well, and we can go from there. Now, as you can see, there is many bits that you can do with this. Most of them I won't have time to go over in this tutorial, primarily because I haven't used them before. This is a tutorial based on the stuff that I know I've already used and can explain how it works. So anyway, once we have the footage we want and it's all hunky-dory and everything's perfect, we go to make the video, we have to go and click on export. And add media. And this screen will come up. I'm not going to export this since I don't want this to appear as a video, but this is the export screen. Now, the advantage with this is that, I don't know, well, I will show this up actually, but you can get, if you look at the number of options we've got here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 available formats for file selection. And that corresponds with let's see, I've got 4 current setups that I've already set up. These 4 at the top are my custom setups, but these are the main ones you get hit. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, CUHD, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 34, so Vimeo 1080, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, with 40 available custom presets, 40 available presets that you can even adjust yourself to make even more presets. So that's another reason I like this, and they range from 480p all the way up to 160p, which is 4K. In Ultra HD across Vimeo, Facebook, and YouTube, more importantly. Now, The good thing about this is that there's also scope to change those settings. And as you can see, from the output section, I have got a target of 60 FPS using hardware encoding, which means it's doing it from the graphics card with the NVIDIA codec at a constant bitrate target of 56.21 megabits per second. Now, obviously, the larger or the bigger the target megabits per second, the larger the file size is going to be. But you can see that for this attempt, because there's only the title and it only lasts 5 seconds, the estimated file size is going to be 151 megabytes. But honestly, when you've got game footage, that will be a lot bigger. For example, the 2.5 minute 4K video I did earlier today was 871 megabytes because it had a bit of PGA 2K21 footage in it. Now, you may notice that it may not be obvious how you change your file names in this application, but it is pretty obvious. This here, where it says 30 of the 621 1235, is clickable. Now, what that means is that you will be able to turn around to Adobe Premiere Pro and tell it how you want to save the video. Now, I'm not going to do that since I'm not going to export this video. But needless to say, it's self-explanatory. You put your file name in and go from there. And that's how you do it. But you can also see there I've gone for a total of 60 frames a second. Sorry, I should cancel that first. I've gone for 60 frames a second, but there is scope to go as low as 10 and as high as I think 120. No, 60. Okay. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere. It might not be H.264 for 120, but I'm sure I've seen it where you can go up to 120 if necessary, if you want to as well. But for YouTube, best to go with H.264, which is what YouTube tell you to go with, and 60 FPS. You can go with H.265, which will give you even smaller files to work with, but YouTube recommend H.264, and so that's what I recommend as well. There's also options up here. I'm not sure what these do. I've got mine to scale to fill at the moment, but I'm not sure exactly what those do. But there are options there. There's also options for changing the audio format and the audio codec, multiplexer, captions, and whatever. There's also an option to import it into the project and set the start time code, and various other options as well, which we won't go over. Once an export starts, it usually takes around 1.5 times for every minute of footage. For a 2.5 minute video, it took 4 minutes to save. So for every minute of footage, it probably takes 1.5 minutes to save. So that's just an idea. That's at the higher qualities, ladies and gentlemen. It obviously, the lower the quality, the less time it'll take to save. But for the higher qualities, it's usually about 1.5 minutes for a minute of footage. So, but obviously, when you're finished, you click on export, which you won't be able to see here because this screen is unfortunately cut off by the taskbar. But the export button is the third one along. I'm hovering over it now, and it says export immediately with the current settings. So obviously, you select that, your video will start exporting. Once it finishes exporting, you will get a message. You will be brought back to the video screen, and you will get a message saying that the export completed successfully, and the file will be located in your folder of choice where you chose to save it. Usually it ends up being about 75% of its natural size, because it does tend to cut it down a little bit lower than it says, because that is an estimated file size, so it's usually about 75 to 80% of that by the time it comes out, and we'll go and we'll see that anyway. For example, the one I did this morning was supposed to be 871 megabytes, but it turned out to be 628. So it is usually about 75 to 80% of the size. That's for that. And then of course it's just a simple thing. In the case of once you get the file, you do the necessary things to upload it to YouTube in whatever form you choose. So that's basically the ins and outs of Premiere Pro for anyone that is new and hasn't seen it before. I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't explain the ins and outs of everything because I haven't done everything. I've only had the program myself for 2 to 3 days, but what I can do is show the basics to how to add titles, which I've done, how to add introductions, how to get your footage in, how to make sure you can edit it on the timeline, make sure you can make all your edits and go from there, which I've done, and basically show you why I like this software now and why I've chosen to start using it as my regular one. But that concludes this relatively long tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. But I think the majority of the main bits have been covered. If there's anything you want to check, I'm sure there's other forms of video that other forms of tutorial that go into more depth than this one, but this one just is one to cover the basics and was never intended to be a ins and outs of Adobe Premiere Pro, since I'm still learning it anyway. So that's going to bring this video to an end, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you enjoy watching it, and I hope you find this video useful. But that's going to bring it to an end, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, thank you for your support, and thanks for watching.